former Rutgers basketball coach Mike Rice is getting a $100,000 bonus today, despite being fired about 24 hours ago over a controversial video that shows him cursing and shoving and hitting players in the head with basketballs. The university says it is contractually obligated to pay up. But there has been a major media outcry over that coach's actions, and many have asked why it took them so long. They disciplined him back in December, but they didn't fire him until that video went public. However, Eric Bowling, co-host of The Five, right here on FNC, has a completely different take on this.
This story kind of infuriates me. We're in the midst of political correctness crushing our ability to teach kids, to discipline kids, to disagree with people or one another or kids. Our culture is in decline, but this is an example of our culture in free fall. And I'm saying because he got fired, not because what he did. Listen, it's time to toughen up. I could talk about the wussification of America, wussification of American men. This is it. I got a paddle in high school. I did something wrong once in gym, and they take a paddle. It's a sawed-off bat, a flat on one side, and they whack you in the butt across the back of the legs. Tell you what, I never messed around in that class again.
Joining me now, Eric Bowling, co-host of The Five. What makes you think we want more like you?
Well, that's a very good point. So I kind of went out and defended, but can I clarify something? I did say that the gay slurs were absolutely off limits. He should never have done that. Right. He got fined for that. He went through sensitivity training for that. I don't think Mr. Rice should have been fired for the other things, which I think what I'm understanding is he was fired for throwing the basketball at the guys, for grabbing a couple of guys.
Beaming them in their heads. It wasn't just in their torso. It was in the head.
No question he was a rough coach. He's a tough coach. Megyn, I'm an athlete. If someone's a bully, I'll get in his face too. But I've played for coaches like that. I've played for a lot of coaches like that.
They put hands on you?
And let me tell you something. The best coaches are coaches like that. There was no hits. There was no slap. People are emailing. They are livid with me. How could you say this, Bowling? What are you doing? Here's what I'm doing. I'm saying we are so afraid to discipline our kids. We're so afraid to tell our kids we disagree with what they're doing. Everyone gets a trophy, a participation trophy. There's no winners. There are no losers in life anymore, in America anymore. We are wimping down. We're wussifying American men, and it has to stop. Can you imagine if a drill sergeant in the Marines wasn't allowed to get in someone's face and yell at them? We'd be losing wars all over the place.
I see that point. I do see that point, and I see your point about the schools too. I mean, my husband and I looked at a school recently where there's no winning allowed, no sports of any kind that allow winning, and even if you want to speak at a pep rally, you have to submit your remarks to the principal before you can speak at the pep rally, lest you say something that's offensive to the student body. We used to have a way of self-correcting in this country, right? If you did something bad, the community have a way of showing you it was bad. But the physical stuff, I mean, when I saw it, I thought, all right, I don't like seeing those guys getting treated that way. And then I picture my own children. And if I saw somebody treating my own children that way, at a university, where I don't know if they're all paying tuition because they're star athletes, but beaming them in the heads with basketballs isn't.
Just watch this for a second.
That's too much.
What's going on, Megyn? What's awful about this? I don't see what's awful. He grabs a guy back of his shirt. He gets in his face. He grabs his shirt. He throws a ball. Well, a couple of times he throws it at his
feet. Because they can't fight back. They can't fight back.
But look at the reaction of these kids. They're not being singled out. It's not one kid who's getting beat up or singled out.
That doesn't make it any better. It's degrading and humiliating to be hit in the back of the head with a basketball.
Listen, you can't go out down the hallway on the 12th floor of Fox and do this kind of stuff. And listen, I just came back from harassment training yesterday. And there are certain situations where different rules apply. It's an athletic field. It's a sports court. The rules are different there. By the way,
how far could you take it? Could you punch somebody in the face?
No, there's no punches being thrown.
Well, where do you draw that line? Well, if there is a line, where do you draw it?
Physically hitting someone with your hands would be the line. If you want to grab someone.
Well, what about a baseball? You're a big baseball guy.
Sure.
Could your son get hit in the head with a baseball by his coach?
I've been hit in the head. I've been hit in the back.
Intentionally?
I've had a coach tell a pitcher, put one right in the middle of his back, and he did. And you know what? Whatever I got that for, I didn't do it again. This is what happens on sports fields. If they set the bar at you can't grab a guy's shirt or throw a ball at his feet, you probably have to eliminate anywhere between half and two-thirds of the coaches in America.
Don't you see the degradation? I see the argument that this is, like, what this does to your self-esteem just makes you feel bad about yourself. I mean, we talked about how they're banning dodgeball in all these schools, and I'm in favor of that because I had some bad experiences. I was the one. But and I see your argument about wussification. But when it comes to physical humiliation, where you feel degraded and hurt in front of others who you respect, it has an emotional effect that can't be helped.
Perhaps, or it has an effect where you learn to brush it off, get back in the batter's box, put your helmet back on, and go hit the ball. I mean, my son and I watched that. I DVR'd that segment, right? I played it last night. I was showing Mike Rice. The 5 segment.
Oh, okay.
Where he saw me standing up for Mike Rice. And he looked at it, we watched it together. He said, Dad, are you sure you can do this? Are you sure that's okay? I said, Eric, if you're standing around, you're being lazy, yeah, I'm okay with that. And he just kind of looked at me like, all right, there's a lesson to be learned. Don't we need to toughen up a little bit? Isn't American culture just in an absolute free-for-all right now? American men need to get it back.
It may not be just the men, I have to say. I mean, the women, they're not playing the dodgeball either. They're not playing the sports that allow you to win at all the schools either. So we all need to be tough because once we get out there, we're going to be facing you.
No slurs, no racial, no gay slurs, and don't hit anyone. I'm not for that. Let's make that perfectly clear.
Eric Bowling, see you tonight,
Thanks, Megyn.
5 p.m. Eastern Time. Great show.